You're past the other day now. Been able to have your words with the team. What ways have they responded? What are you expecting out of them in terms of how they approach the game tomorrow?
Yeah, it's kind of an emotional game. The last two games at home have been like emotional games because, in fairness, through good stretches of the game, it wasn't that we played poorly. We need to be more cutthroat in the box and around the goal in terms of creating chances, and we need to, if teams are going to sit back, play us on counter, do that kind of stuff, then we really have to remember to protect ourselves and to be more cutthroat, I guess, as you would say, in the defensive transitions. But we've seen now two teams who've come into our building and have sat low and played us on these fast counterattacks. We've had possession. They've hurt us both times, and we've gotten behind in the game, and then it pours gas on the fire that they can sit into that block and keep transitioning us. So we need to learn to win those games. Again, when we're on the road, I think teams play us more straight up, and we've actually had some pretty good results in that way. So we've got to learn how to win these games in different ways. We got to learn how to win games at home if we happen to give up the first goal. But all in all, for me, we've got to, if we're going to have 73% possession and play a lot of that in the attacking half the field, we need more good chances. We need more goals. We need the opposition scrambling to protect their goal more than we did the other night. So that's a little bit of a mentality to finish attacks, to be a little bit more decisive in the final action. That's what I'm looking for to this group. So it's not just about like playing pretty well. It's about doing the things you have to do to win games, and that's decisive stuff in the attacking box. And if teams are sitting on us, that means we have to be very smart about how we defend in transition. But I thought some of our defending and our shape, I thought was quite good. I thought they had a really difficult time doing things. So there's some positives out of it. The negatives for us are just the mentality to really make teams pay if they're going to sit low, and to really be thinking about the goal and finishing chances and preparing ourselves to score. So for us, we got to come out in this game with a fighter mentality also, because this is a team with more confidence. They're going to come out and play. They're not going to sit back on us. It'll be, both teams trying to impose their will on this game and their style of play, which is different. Both teams want to play in the other team's half of the field, so that'll be an interesting challenge. But first and foremost, in any derby, it's a competition first and foremost. And then if you can establish yourself in the game, then you can establish your vision and try to play your way. But first and foremost, we have to be up for the battle and the competition side of it.
With opponents finding success in that low block, is that kind of a recipe for defenses coming in here? Is that something you guys...
Well, I would imagine some teams see that as a recipe. I think they would have to determine if that suits them, if they feel like they're strong enough defensively to withstand us having 65-70% possession and being around their goal. If they feel like they can withstand that, then a couple teams have come in and showed that can be a successful formula. We have to change that image, right? We have to make sure that teams understand if they do that, we're going to punish them, and then it doesn't allow them that as an option, and then we open up the game a little bit more. So it's on us. We have to be able to manage, and I've said this before, and I said this in the past, and you have to win games in different ways, because oppositions are going to come and pose different threats, right? And it's for sure when you get behind in games, which we have early in the last couple of games, then it poses a different challenge. So we've got to be able to manage that and do better.
When you look at playing LAFC, I think you said a couple like earlier in the season that the rivalry only grows when you're meeting in knockout games, and here it is, the second one between these two teams. What do you remember about the old Galaxy San Jose games and how that sort of elevated that rivalry?
Yeah, again, I think it's all based on emotion, and there's always emotion in derbies and there's always emotion in league games. But when you play a league game early in this season, there's a lot of points still out there. It's not as defining in a moment. Whereas when you play in knockout games, it's a defining moment. It's emotional, and one team goes home and they're done with an event or a tournament, a playoff or whatever, and the other team keeps going on. And so for me, that always that always brings. I mean, San Jose, there was only so many teams in the league. San Jose was our rival. All of these games that were knockout, whether they were Open Cup or playoff games, they always had a little bit more juice in them. They always had, with the fans, a little bit more, because it's bragging rights, right? There's things in there that the fans see as hugely important, the players see hugely important, and ultimately the race for both clubs is trophies. Right, who's the trophy case? You know, we have one from the past, but we've got to build one about our present and our future. And you know, they're trying to build theirs as a relatively new club. So this is one of those opportunities where a knockout game presents itself with another chance to win a trophy on the other side of this game. So that adds to the emotion, and the emotion adds to the allure of any rivalry, in my opinion.
Greg, from previous experience playing against LAFC, do you feel like your players step up their game when they're playing LAFC?
Well, I think it's possible. I mean, I think the concentration, attention to detail, maybe some of those things when games feel bigger, when, you know, it's a rivalry, whoever that rivalry is, I think it just, maybe you get 5%, 10% more in terms of concentration, going a little extra further, things like that can exist. A lot of these guys are friends with guys on the other side. You never really want to lose to someone who's your friend, because that's also internal bragging rights. There's a lot that goes into that subconsciously or consciously you get just a little bit more in these games. And so, you know, that's the anticipation of both sides tomorrow, which makes it also an exciting rivalry. And these games have always been a little crazy and adventurous and fun for the fans, not always for the coaches, but fun for the fans. You know? And
the last time was pretty crazy. There were a lot of controversial calls. Tomorrow there's no VAR. As a coach, do you care about that stuff?
I don't. I mean, it's a world that we usually live in, and I haven't quite decided if I love it or hate it. Depends on the day and depends on the calls. So this one's straight up. You got to win it. The referees were going to referee the game, and we got to make the plays to win the game. So I'm okay with that. I think that's old school. That's the way it used to be. So we got to do it.
Do you have a feel for why the Galaxy have been the better team in this series?
Not really. I mean, I think, you know, it's hard to say. You know, it's hard to say if you know, if pride, history, past, if any of that has really anything to do with things. I think the Galaxy has been able to, each one of these games is different, and I think, you know, the Galaxy has been able to make more plays than LAFC in many of these games for one reason or another. I can't really explain why. But this is a club in the past, and hopefully again present and future, that when it's been a big game and things have been on the line, you know, players have answered that call. But it's hard to say. I feel like every game is a different game. I don't know if I buy too much into the ghosts of the past and how those affect the game that's tomorrow. So you know, two teams, whoever has the best form and plays the best and most importantly executes. I mean, the other night we played all right, but we didn't execute, and the game is about moments, and whoever takes their moments is going to have the best chance of winning the game.
Speaking of ghosts, there's some thought that the way that Zlatan came in and took care of that first meeting, that kind of set some, you know, whether it's set something up in the cosmos or just in the back of the minds of LAFC, that's kind of held sway.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think when the discussion can be around, we've never won there, we've never won here, even when you talk about that inside your group, it does create a presence of something that may or may not be important the next day or on the next game. But it's certainly, once it's talked about, it's out in the atmosphere, and when things are in the atmosphere, you never know how they impact the mentality of certain players or anything like that. So for me personally, I think for us it's about performance, it's about execution, because we've failed to execute in the last few games the way we'd like to, and it's about competition, because whenever you play your rivals, you got to step up and be ready for that.
Koulibaly, Sasha, Zavaleta, are we missing anyone?
So far, those 3 are the ones ruled out for tomorrow. So far. Yeah.
Where are they in terms of getting back?
Sega, we had positive news because we were really concerned about his issue. It was knee. The positive is it wasn't ACL related, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Does he need surgery?
We're not 100% sure yet, but it will be a little bit of time. It's not going to be this week, and then we go into a longer break. So hopefully when we get on the other side of that break, he'll be on the right side of things. Sasha was just a hip flexor strain from the other day. And who was the other one you mentioned? Eric is a growing issue. With Sega going down, we don't really want to rush Eric back into the equation. He could be okay by this weekend, probably. He's starting to train. It's just it's a risk reward, and we already have one center back down for a little while, so it's we got to be a little bit wary of what we're doing with him. But he's on the right side of this and could be ready by the weekend.
Well, the break is a nice thing to have there because you get extends the amount of time you have to get him back.
Sure. Again, like the break is always, these breaks are always a catch-22. Sometimes it's a chance to reboot and fix some things or get some guys healthy. It's also can be complete for teams that are doing really well going into break. It can be just a break of momentum. There's a lot of things. So we'll take it at this point. Just again, get some guys healthy and rebuild off of after the first stretch of games, right, for the second half.
Good.
All right. Is that everyone? Thank you, guys.
Obviously, as you said before, our last 2 home matches haven't been anything of us as of late. As I said before, this is a rivalry game. Rather we're winning or losing, this is a huge game regardless. And it's even more so important now because this is our 3rd consecutive home match, and we're looking to get back to winning ways and playing good football. So this is the perfect way to rebound against your rival. So yeah.
Is it easy to switch? I mean, those two games have probably been 2 of the worst we've seen out of this group this year.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I think we've been very, very well good on the road, and obviously you want your home to be your fortress, but as of late it hasn't been. So I think we need to get back into lots of fundamentals and knowing what comes with having home advantage and stuff like that and whatnot.
We can see watching what's things that are wrong, but what's behind that? Why is this team in the funk that it's in right now?
Because there's maybe quite a few things. I think in terms of the way we set out to play the way we set out to play our home matches in the first 15 minutes, I feel like sometimes we're a little too rushing, we're a little too ambitious to get the first goal or to impose ourselves. I think, as I said before, our away matches are a lot better because I think we're more conservative. Not to say we need to be conservative at home, but we need to have a little silver lining where it's where we're not as ambitious as before, but more conservative in the way we play, and not just trying to go for things when sometimes we could just keep the ball or manipulate the other team by having the ball more and finishing off our chances. As I said before, we just haven't been finishing our chances. What did we play? 13, 14 games and only have 14 goals. That's 1 goal per game, so that's not good enough, and we know that. So we just need to hone in and see what we need to do to get more goals. As I say,
it seems that the defenses you're facing, they're just sitting back because they know that if they crowd it in, you guys are struggling to score against that. Because you guys are pushing for the goal, they are not facing the same thing at the other end.
Exactly. As you said before, Dallas did that well. Nashville tried to do that with us, but I think that game against Nashville, I thought they were really, really pressing back because our ability to win the ball in their attacking half was really great. I just think, as you said before, teams are going to come in and they're going to try to either press us or they're going to sit back.
Or do both.
I do both, exactly. So it's just on us to know how to deal with that and how to deal with the transitions. I think traditionally we haven't been as great at home as we've been in away. So I just think we just need to, just get back to the basics.
How, just in terms of Greg and the way that his tenor is with the team, how would you describe it, over these last couple of weeks?
Yeah, just getting back to, like as he said before, transitions are a huge thing. Our attacking transitions have been well, but defensively sometimes we mentally lapse in moments. I just think the game's about moments. I just think we don't take our moments as much as other teams take their moments. And I think if we take our moments, we'll be better off at getting points and whatnot at home.
Well, when Bruce was coach here, there were times when he just went into the locker room and raged.
Yes.
Ziggy could do that.
Yes.
Greg doesn't seem that type, but can he?
Oh, he definitely did. He definitely did, and I thought it was really good. Obviously, he did definitely rage, but it wasn't just rage to rage. It was rage more coming out of a learning capacity, obviously. So as I said before, guys know the situation we're in, and we know what we need to do to be better and be more successful here at home.
When you look at the start of the game, a fan might say, hey, they want to score first to get on top of the game. But there's a fine line between that.
Exactly. That's what I was saying before when I said too ambitious. Sometimes we're too ambitious to get the first goal because we kind of feel like the first goal kind of sets us off in the right way. I seen there was a stat where if we get the first goal, we're almost undefeated. And if we concede the first goal, we almost always lose the game. So I think that kind of...
You're reading Kevin game notes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at Kevin. I'm looking at his game notes. But,
and that goes across the league.
Exactly. That goes across the league.
It's just too much parity.
It's just too much parity. So, as I said before, us being at home, we want to get the first goal. But I think sometimes we're too ambitious. We over impose ourselves. And sometimes, as you said before, just like the Houston goal, like I was caught out of position because we had the ball in position and whatnot, and I was out of position. But like stuff like that, like being overzealous. So yeah, we just need to calm down and just know that we're home and know that we have the advantage at being home instead of just trying to impose ourselves too much.
On a goal like that, the goal by passer, you're out of position. But when a guy's going to crack it from there, do you say, "Hey, if you get it, you get it"? I mean, that's
that one was kind of a miscommunication on my end. I thought I should, looking back at the goal now, I should have definitely continued to run with passer. I just stopped because I thought someone was going to come in and help me. But yeah, that was a great goal. Obviously, you tip your hat off to him. That was a fantastic goal.
Rivalry game obviously means a lot. Does it mean more when you've played for the other team recently?
Yeah, for sure. For me, for sure. I want to beat LAFC so bad. I want to beat them because of 35-52. I want to piss them off. I don't know. Simple as. I'm going to be honest. I just want to piss them off. So hopefully we get a win tomorrow and just leave them with a sore taste in their mouth.
Well, you guys have had they've never beaten you here. When you look at the games in Los Angeles, the two games that they really went big were the outlier games, the playoff game and the game in Orlando. Aside from that, it's always tight.
Yep.
And you guys usually win. What do you have over them?
I don't know. I just think at home, the fan support, just knowing that, this is a rivalry game, it means a lot to the fans, a lot to the fan base, because, the fan bases don't like each other. So, maybe that rings in the back of our ears and gives us a little more, kick power to, push on and try to get the victory.
There's thought that Zlatan scoring that goal in the first meeting, that kind of set a tone here that they can't get past.
Exactly. I remember being on LAFC. I remember we used to dread coming here to Galaxy. So now they're on the other end of it, and now I'm here. So we're going to try to win the game. Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys.
I guess first off, just this team has not been playing well. In what ways do you look at this game as an opportunity to change that, and what needs to change?
I mean, I wouldn't say we haven't been playing well. We've had our moments where, we show moments of excellence, but I guess overall we haven't gotten the results. And at the end of the day, you will say we haven't been playing well. But yeah, we just got to continue on with our game plans, which is what it is and what we preach every day in training. And fortunately, when it comes to games, I guess we kind of get sidetracked and we feel like because we go down a goal, we got to start, going around what we've been training and working on and not sticking to it. So that's kind of what it's been, what I've been seeing in the midfield, because what we train, when it comes to game time and the pressure's on and, guys feel like they need to make something happen rather than keeping it simple and, sticking to what we've been training and planning, that's when it gets, difficult, because then guys get emotional and guys get frustrated and then, it starts going all over the place. But we just got to, know how to control our emotions, know how to control the game, see what the game is offering us, and take what it gives us.
When you go down a goal, it enables the other team to play more defensively, and you've been going up against, you get into that attacking third, and it's just packed full of bodies. It's like trying to find an open space has been very difficult for you.
Like I said, what we train is get to one side, get to the other side, and then you have a time advantage to go at whether the right back or the left back in a 2v1 situation before everyone can shift over, and then you got 4 guys around you, right? It has to be quick. We have to pick up the speed of tempo. Once we get down the line, we have to put the ball in front of the goal. A lot of times we get down the line and then we cut it back and then we pass it back, and next thing you know, there's 8 guys behind in front of their 18, and then we're just passing around the top of the 18. Like you said, there's just a lot of numbers. When we get the opportunity to put the ball in front of the goal, we have to put the ball in front of the goal. That's when mistakes happen. That's when, somebody gets a nice flick on, redirected on the goal. Things happen, so we gotta continue getting down the line, putting balls in front of the goal, taking risk, and just sticking to our game plan.
It's just, you look at the last 2 home games, you guys allowed 3 goals apiece. Is that the problem? You just come out just going away from the game plan early in these 2 games?
No, I feel. I mean, once we give up a goal like we did early up in the game, then that's when we kind of start to panic a bit, and then we get a little nervous and stuff like that. Which we got to stay calm. We're professionals. We got to read the game. We got to do better. We got to own our positions. Mistakes happen, but we got to know how to handle it. We got to know how to deal with it, and then just play the game. The game's 90 minutes. The game's not over in 45. But then then you give up 2 and 3. These are mistakes that can easily be avoided. But it takes a whole team effort in correcting all of that. And then we gotta be responsible. We gotta be on top of one another, and make sure it never happens, because it's been happening too much, and we just got to clean it up. And we still got, we're still in a good position on the table, and we can still turn this around and continue bringing some positive out of the season, starting obviously tomorrow with our rivals in a big game.
We've seen this group, earn some hard-fought results.
Yep.
Even the Minnesota game sandwiched in between Dallas and Sunday there.
Yep.
Is there a mental difference between home and away, or?
I'd say home. We get a little bit excited with the fans. We get ambitious. We get away from what keeps us. I would say responsible in our positions. We get ambitious. We get stretched out. We get forward, and then we leave ourselves exposed. The way we stay a little bit more compact, but that's what gives us success. Behind the ball, that's what gives us second chances, recovering the ball, staying on top of the opponent. And we just got to stick with that. We got to know how to, control the game, like I said, and what, brings us success. And this is what's been doing well for us. And that's how like I said, we got the win over Nashville. We were on top of them the whole game. Why? Because we were organized from back to front, and the second chances would come, the third wave would come. They couldn't get out, and we got to continue with that mentality. We got to continue from back to front, communicating throughout the whole game. And then once we get down the line in front of the goal, we gotta finish our chances. So
when you guys play LAFC, do you feel like the team plays differently? Like it doesn't matter like how you guys play the last game?
Well, I didn't play the last game. It's going to be my first Trafico game. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of emotions going into the game from what I've experienced from the sideline, and the guys are up for it. It's ready. Nothing changes, just the intensity, right? Guys, it's a rivalry. You got the fans in it, and guys are just that much more up to the task because it's a rivalry game, and you want to, it's a battle for the city and each other's, reputation. So, yeah.
There's no VAR for this game. Do you guys care as soccer players?
No. If anything, it's better, right? I mean, for me at least. But no, don't care at all.
You're new here, like you say. You haven't played in one of these yet. Do you have a feel for why the Galaxy have been the better team in this series? Even at times when LAFC's had a better team?
Yeah, I don't know. From history, I've watched games. Even not being on this team, I've watched games, and LA Galaxy always comes out on top. It always comes down to who wants it more, and who can handle the pressure, who can handle the situation, who can read the game, and who can put away their chances. That's what it always comes down to. So, LA Galaxy has always been successful in that aspect of everything.
Because if lineups are what we expect them to be, you guys are going to be dealing with Carlos Vela. Mm-hmm. He has gone a long stretch without scoring from the run of play. Does that change who he is at all?
No, Carlos Vela, a player with such high quality like him, he's always going to have the quality, right? It's never going to go away. So you always got to respect that. You got to respect what he can do, what he can bring, and what he can make happen. So, it doesn't change anything at all. Yeah. No worries.
Thank you, Mark.
No worries. Yeah.